Hello, how's it going? I haven't made a video in a very long while, and today is March 16th. We're about to have our first big pro wrestling show here in the Philippines for 2025. Maybe I should make a video now. Now's a good time. So I'm going to talk about trying to convince haters and why it is a waste of time. We see it all the time in internet arguments. I don't know about other people, but for me personally, I don't get anything out of being anonymous. I really don't. It's been like that since when I was a teenager. A lot of people do. That's what makes the internet the way it is. You don't have to believe me when I say that, but well, that's just how I am. Even if I use a pseudonym or anime avatar, hide behind a constructed identity that's not my own, I can't take advantage of it because I still feel what I'm doing. If I'm like trolling or whatever, I still feel it. It's me doing the thing. I'm very sober to my complicity. And I'm not saying that I'm moral. I'm not saying that I'm a good person because of that. Hell, I think it's even a weakness because I don't have a thick enough skin in order to do certain things. And there are a lot of other people out there who don't give a crap. And they're able to do things that I can't even imagine doing. I'm for the freedom of self expression, but not necessarily free speech. People talk too much. Expression is from action. That's what I believe. I do think it is a gigantic waste of time dealing with people who don't know anything concrete about politics, religion, and the other such important topics. Like most of them don't really know anything, really. They know what they see, what they experience, and so on, but they don't really study it. Now, I'm not trying to on those who find value and entertainment in doing that. Whatever floats your boat. What floats mine is minding my own business. Maybe what floats your boat is minding other people's business. Why am I saying all this? I just wanted to express a little bit of my opinion and what I think and how I deal with social media. My perspective on online discourse and the internet hate machine. It's both contrarian and simplistic, perhaps even naive. And maybe it's my neurodivergence. Obviously, I don't look like I'm neurotypical. Or maybe it's my social anxiety. But mind you, I'm trying to see past my own perspective because beyond my personal choice to limit my participation in online discourse, I do make occasional responses, especially on topics that I'm actually really into. What I like to think is instead of just posting a comment, I'd rather make a video like this or write a blog post or whatever, something a bit more substantial. But for the most part, but it does seem like a lot of people spend most of their time with output, with typing on the internet, saying what they like to say, and to them that brings value to them. For me personally, I spend most of my time reading and watching stuff. My internet activities is mostly 80% input and 20% output. But I do realize that output is important, even if it's trolling. I don't know. It is what keeps the internet alive after all. I'm finding it more and more imperative that I put out output. There's an urge within me to express myself. That's why I make these videos. It's making me think. We do these things that we like to do. We enjoy them, or maybe it's a livelihood or whatever. But then we have to then listen to other people's on whatever we do. I'm preparing now to go to the venue in a bit. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm making this video because I keep seeing people arguing with those who just don't get it. And why even argue with those people? Why? For instance, pro wrestling. Pro wrestling always had this. Even if pro wrestling has proven over the decades now that it is the more profitable enterprise at the highest level, and only at the highest level, mind you. Fake isn't even an insult anymore, it's acknowledged. That so called fakeness has become a tool that is exploited time and time again to the benefit of the art. And other fields, they're borrowing from pro wrestling. Combat sports borrows from pro wrestling. Politics even borrows from pro wrestling. No matter where you look, everything is pro wrestling in some way, shape, or form. It's that theatricality. Eric Weinstein has called it the K-fabrication of reality. And we've been seeing it in business, for instance, and even the current political climate. All of it is show, all of it is theater. Now, mind you, especially in how politics is now throughout the world, and the limits of democracy are becoming more and more apparent. We need an educated and intellectually engaged population in order to make it work. But more and more people now believe that education is indoctrination. And the same people like to on pro wrestling for being fake. I don't know. Do you have to argue with those people? Do you feel like you need to prove a point with those kinds of people? I don't think so. Yeah, pro wrestling is a perfect example because it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, everything about it comes from left field. So if people can follow the rules of basketball, baseball, volleyball, football, they can follow pro wrestling. So, what's the worry? No alien civilization out there could have come up with pro wrestling as the way it is, the way the human beings have created it throughout history. And that's why it's awesome. The pro wrestling haters, they come from a place of ignorance. It reminds me of that clip by Mike Quackenbush.
If their view of wrestling is that it is trash entertainment, that it is lowbrow, or they're otherwise tangled up in the prickly notion of what is fake. These are real objections people have, and you and I know that almost every single one of these is rooted in some ignorance.
If that really was what made it bad, if people did not like it, pro wrestling would be dead by now. If it deserved to die, it would have been killed by World War II and 9/11, the pandemic even. If it were a waste of time, then there wouldn't be people who care about it, and it wouldn't be an industry. And we wouldn't be here right now, like me, on this car ride going to a pro wrestling show to commentate. And people shit on everything. You don't owe them any explanation. They're just gonna shit on everything. Rant incoming. Now, for instance, people shit on boxing all the time. And yet, it can't make money without pro wrestling tactics, really. Even the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, he got inspiration from a pro wrestler, Gorgeous George. Fans want to say that they praise fighters who don't talk too much and are humble, and yet most of them won't buy tickets or pay-per-views to watch their fights. It's true. If you truly believe that their humility is a boon and makes them good role models, then don't just talk about them. Support them. Buy tickets, buy their pay-per-views, watch their fights, and then give them a boost, talk more about them. And people definitely on mixed martial arts. Come on. People claim that they hate grappling. MMA, it's the realest fighting you can get, and yet they still on it. So you can't convince me that they're actually objective. And of course, everyone on kickboxing. It's the Linux of combat sports. Only Europeans take kickboxing seriously. And who gives a about the Europeans? So yeah, don't believe those dweebs who say they only like striking. They don't watch kickboxing. Of course, the reborn, redheaded stepchild of combat sports, bare knuckle boxing, because it's really bloody and it's not for kids. Almost every exciting bare knuckle boxing fight ends up with cuts and bruises all over their faces. And if you're not watching that, then you really don't care about real fighting. Let's even turn away from combat sports. Talk about the most relevant things on this planet Earth. Health and fitness, for instance. Fat and unfit slobs who hate athletes. For instance, I had a friend from high school who he saw a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger without a shirt on when he was governor of California, when he didn't have time to work out. He said, yeah, this is why I don't want to work out. What kind of thinking is that? Really, this is one of those stupidest things I've ever heard come out of a human being's mouth. I had college professors, overweight, unfit, absolutely. They like to rant about athletes who get by through scholarships. Okay, fine. They're getting by, they're getting a pass for their academic performance because they're athletes on scholarships. Okay, fine. You have a little bit of gripe. But to say that you hate athletes because they have it easy. F*** you. You're overweight. Like seriously, my math professor, she ranted about athletes all the time. Also, I had an acquaintance who liked to on fit martial artists. I guess he did karate during his childhood. He likes to say that you don't need muscles to do martial arts. Also, there are those far leftists who like to say that being healthy and fit is a gateway to right wing ideology. And then again, all belief systems, BS, has stupid shit in it. But come on, being fit can benefit you. And in fact, being fit even justify universal healthcare. If you're healthy and fit, conservatives have less of a reason to gripe about paying for your healthcare. On the other hand, even in the side of fitness itself, there are people who hate on other forms of health and fitness because they're loyal to what they know. For instance, I've had bodybuilders who come up to me and say, "Change your program, don't do cardio. You should only focus on getting swole." I have my own goals, so leave me to my goals. And on the other hand, there's the other side who say, stop lifting weights. Big muscles are useless. Yeah, martial artists. Yeah, fanaticism and tribalism is ugly, even in physical exercise. And then even science and technology, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, moon hoaxers, etc. I gotta say, they're inspirational to me because if they can make content about stupid like that, I should be making content too. That's why I'm making this video right now. But yeah, people don't care about the truth. They only care about being right, or at least feeling that they're right. For instance, flat earthers come up with these experiments and then deny the results when those experiments prove that the earth is round. It's stupid. I'm supposed to feel bad about those people hating on my shit? Come on. And anti-vaxxers who blame normal health problems on vaccine. Maybe they're right about the COVID vaccine, maybe not. Time will tell once they declassify those files in 50 years. And hey, maybe we'll finally find out who killed JFK when Trump releases those files, eh? And also those ignoramuses who think Big Pharma will never sell a cure for cancer. Like, come on, who doesn't want to become a hero? Be written in the history books and have their stock price go to the moon. All right, there are people out there who don't believe that we landed on the moon. And yet, they're buying coins that they hope will go to the moon. How will it go to the moon? We've never landed on the moon in the first place. Come on. And technology. Come on. Trolls type on their smartphones and computers. Radical environmentalists who hate technology, supposedly. Fans of Ted Kaczynski, and yet they have to depend on technology to spread their message. They have no other choice. What are they going to do? Distribute flyers and pamphlets? Mind you, I am picking up what you're putting down. I wrote about Ted Kaczynski's manifesto on my website, avoider.net. Visit. Come on, they're haters of education. Education! They now think that education is indoctrination, programming, brainwashing. People don't think that the acquisition of knowledge actually is worth your time and money, or even worth making free. Learning to not care about other people's opinions is liberation. My greatest lesson in 2024, in fact, is learning that the main hater in my life was a fraud and a pathetic loser. It didn't know what they were talking about. And from that guy and many others, I learned that the easiest and lowest form of looking smart is casual cynicism. Hating on they don't understand. Every second you waste on arguing with haters is time wasted on not doing what you love and sharing it with like-minded people. Best way to represent that thing that you love, that you have passion for, is to do that thing, like what we're doing here right now for this wrestling show, the very first big wrestling show of 2025. I'm looking at them. I can't point the camera at them right now because they're preparing for the show. But I'm looking at this. Look at this. All this passion, all this effort put into this production. The reason why everyone is here, the reason why I am here, is because we'd rather do this thing rather than deal with haters. That's right. The haters don't need convincing. We just need to do our thing. Patience and persistence yields the greatest proof, results. And we are getting results here. If they're still not convinced by that, then they will never be convinced. And that's okay. You can just set them aside. You don't have to worry about people who think that what you're doing is bad. Well, unless you're committing a crime and directly harming others. You have people who think good stuff like physical exercise, sober living, treating people well, they think that's stupid. Like, who thinks that? Well, those haters, apparently. Those people. Don't talk to them. Don't give them attention. So keep at it. Soon enough, years will pass and you'll become a veteran at that thing you love. And they will never go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome live from Brawl Pit, Bulusan. This is DexCon WrestleStorm 2. My name is Sonny, and here with me in the commentation station are my partners, Romeo Moran and Bon Evangelista.
Woo, let's go!
Chaos post-show. And that's it for the first big wrestling show here in the Philippines for 2025. I usually don't join in on the festivities. I just pack up my stuff here. Come on, look, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. So yeah, online haters versus this. Have you seen this? Come on. Online haters versus this. Come on. No, they don't matter. I don't give a I don't give a flying Do you understand? The haters can go off! Sorry about that. I'm here back home in the workshop. I'm going to offload these files. I'm going to copy them to the server. Yeah, why did I get carried away there? Because that's just the thing. When you're in that kind of environment, when you're actually doing stuff instead of just criticizing other people for doing stuff that you don't agree with, bolsters your spirit. That's the point. You can't help but really feel it, you see. It's not just an empty gesture. It's not just words. Expression is action. When other people say what you're doing is wrong, and yet you're with other people doing it with you, and you're not harming anyone, and in fact, you're bringing happiness to other people's lives, it's never wrong. You can say you should be doing something more productive with your time, something that makes more money, perhaps, but it really depends on your life situation. I was told by a family member to get out of that. Ultimately, it's because of ignorance. That person knows nothing about my life. We only talk every once in a while, like doesn't live with us. So that opinion of it being best for me to get out, again, it's ignorance. I have something over there, and it may be a little extreme. It says, this apparatus terminates ignorance, the root of fascism. Now, that's more of a political thing. Fascism, for me, isn't just a political thing. It is also existential. There are fascists in our own lives. There are those who seek to control us because they think they're right and you are wrong. And your job is to prove them wrong by living your life well. That's all it is. And if they are telling you that what you're doing is wrong and you resent that, it digs to your very core, it sticks to your craw, then your proof is in being able to continue to do that thing you do without wavering, without losing your way. Perhaps in some of your cases, their advice would be right. But who are they? It depends, you see. Are they just strangers? If they're strangers, fuck them. Don't even think about them. Don't acknowledge them because they're strangers. At the end of the day, when you're alone in your bed, lying there, thinking about what has happened to your life, whoever that guy is with a random username, you're going to take him seriously? Now, if it's your parents who are telling you that what you're doing is wrong, all you have to do is prove them wrong by showing that, hey, I'm doing well with this thing. Maybe they're worried that you can't have a sustainable livelihood. If so, you show them, hey, look, I'm sustaining myself with this thing. Come on. Or if they see what you're doing as a disgrace, then once you're an adult, they can't do anything about it. Like, seriously, they can't do anything about it. You move out and move on with your life. This place is, it's mostly mine now anyway. Are they physically stopping you? That's the thing. There it is. Are they physically stopping you? Are they actually getting in your way physically, or even legally? Are they actually pulling out all the stops in order to stop you? If so, then okay, maybe there's something to it. But if they're not, then they can't stop you. They're just saying words, and when they're just saying words, it's fine. I know this has gone beyond just, online haters. It has become also about the haters in your life. It is what it is. Drifts off to that because they're the source of your insecurity, in which case then passes on to your insecurities on social media, on the internet, outside. It bleeds into how you view strangers and what they say
what they say to your face, or what they say on whatever shows up on your phone. If it shows up here, you shouldn't take it too seriously. You shouldn't take yourself seriously. That also boils down to that, because it's a function of the ego to not just be boastful. It's also the function of the ego to deprecate you, because the ego does not want you to leave your comfort zone. It wants you to stay comfortable, to stay enclosed, to stay imprisoned. Therefore, it is your job to yourself, it's your duty to yourself to get over that. Anyway, that's all for now. Till next time, stay Tor.